There's a powerful shift that happens when you invest in the tools that reflect your commitment. Today, I want to talk about how upgrading our gear can signal a new level of seriousness in our work. Investing in better tools signals to yourself that you're committed to doing something well. There's just something about having a high quality tool that pushes you toward more quality thinking. I recently came across a video from Big Think where they interviewed Cal Newport, a professor of computer science at Georgetown University and author of some of my favorite books, including Deep Work, So Good They Can't Ignore You, and Digital Minimalism. Here's what he said. Invest in better tools that you can signal to yourself that you're invested in doing this well. This is going to help you take the work more seriously. I want to focus on this idea of having high quality tools. If you can afford it, of course. I don't want you to think that you need to spend thousands of dollars depending on what you're trying to get better at. But we should have something that's good enough. That should be the minimum expectation. Let me give you some examples. I have a few computers that I use, a Dell ZBook, a Desktop BC, and a MacBook Pro. I love using the desktop because of the quality setup. I installed a lot of the things myself, including the RAM, storage, mouse, webcam, the keyboard, and of course my Roller Coaster Tycoon desk mat. Same with my MacBook. I picked exactly what I wanted and tried to future-proof myself as best as I could. And I love using these computers, and being able to effectively use Windows and Mac are very important to me on a professional level, and to understand and be comfortable in both environments. As for the Dell ZBook, it's probably the most expensive out of the bunch, but also the worst performing and not really fun to use at all. What I'm getting at is that it's important to understand what works best for us. It's not just about cost, though that is a factor. It's about how it works for us. Plus, honestly, for me, stuff has to look cool. Think about it like clothing. What do they say? You look good, you feel good. This saying suggests that dressing well can lead to a more positive mood, better mental health, and improved overall well-being. The same goes for the tools we have on our craft or our work. It's a very important thing. Sure, we can get really creative and create a song with a $50 pawn shop guitar, but even that has an aesthetic to it as well. We don't have to spend a lot of money on something to get the best quality either. In a lot of cases, you do get what you pay for, but there's some gray area in there. This goes to a deeper idea, and I believe there's a correlation between dressing well and having quality tools. The idea of enclothed cognition. Basically, you can look at the article, I'll share that in the description, but basically you kind of like embody a different mindset, well, depending on what you're wearing. So the experiment used some people were wearing lab coats, some people were wearing like a painter's coat. It's a deeper thing than that, I guess, but they did some testing and some people wore lab coats. Other participants were wearing painter's jackets and other things. Based on their findings, people wearing the lab coats perceive themselves as having a higher selective attention compared to the other groups. But if you want to learn more about this idea, I also recommend reading the book The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman. This book talks about how people like NFL and MLB star Bo Jackson created the alter ego on the field, much more aggressive compared to his real self. I believe that having quality tools to work with gives us the same effect that enclosed cognition gives us, but for our work. I know when I'm writing with a nice pen, I feel like my words are so elegant and well thought out compared to when I'm using those free pens that businesses hand out at events. Try it out for yourself. It may not work for everyone, and just because you pay a lot of money for your tool doesn't mean you'll be great at it. You also have to enjoy it enough to keep pushing through. If you don't, it's just going to collect dust. So there's a lot more to it than just buying something nice or high quality. And I want to share something from a few years ago that really stuck with me. At the time, I was taking guitar lessons, and every year in December, they had a recital for all the students. In the school where they had this recital, we could practice in this room near the auditorium. While I was there practicing my piece, I overheard an instructor talking about a past student, someone I actually went to high school with. Apparently, her parents had gotten her this really expensive drum set, but she was terrible at it and she never practiced. And that got me thinking about times in my life where or I thought just buying something would motivate me to use it. You know, that's not always the case. You know, then it ends up just sitting there collecting dust. But there's also something lying within that as well. We have to figure out who we are. A lot of our identities can be tied to the things we do, for better or worse. Growing up, we may not fully grasp our true identities. Am I a musician? I don't know. I love music. I think I would enjoy making songs. But, you know, we have to just dive into things and learn about who we are. And if we want to dress nicer and feel nicer, we have to figure out our sense of style and what helps us take pride in ourselves. All this brings us to here. Yes, investing in the right tools is important, but what's more important is understanding which tools are our tools and which ones need to be tossed. This is what I wanted to get across to people in my previous video. Gear doesn't matter. In my previous video, gear doesn't matter, but it does and it doesn't. It doesn't matter when you're trying to figure out things and experiment, but it does matter when you're trying to take it seriously. And for this video too, I also want to share a little bit about what I'm investing in and how it's been working for me at work. We have a teleprompter we've been trying out, and I really liked it, and I thought it'd be a great chance to bring it into my video. So this is an example right here of me investing in something. It's a small investment. It was $50. I could share the link in the description. This is the first time me using like a teleprompter for an entire video, so it'll be interesting to see. I bought something that was like simple. I'm going to try it out, see if it made a difference. And also as an example of, you know, making a small investment to see if you like it, is the teleprompter that I'm using for this video. I tried the teleprompter that I have at work. Much more expensive, but I really liked it, and I thought it could be a game changer as far as making videos, keep myself on topic and make sure I'm saying what I want to say. This isn't part of the teleprompter, but you know, I just wanted something, you know, it makes creating content a little simpler, you know, so we'll see. And this was a $50 investment. I'm not tied into a lot if it ends up collecting dust. If it works out, you know, great, because it's a simple setup. I set up with my phone, and it works out pretty well. So, you know, we'll see how this works. And, you know, part of the process of learning who we are is trying stuff out and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and also like not feeling bad about investing in something that maybe you don't use, because I think that investment is worth it. It's worth to try different things. Because, you know, as we go through life, we don't fully understand who we are as we're going through like school and the influence of other people, and now with like social media, as we're just like grasping a lot of different things, which is cool. Like if you're not really sure about fashion, you like follow some people. I like their style. You try on their style. Maybe for a little bit it works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you need to try something else. Like as far as like your career goes, there's a lot of people that want to be social media influencers or something, or want to get into the trades. You know, you can research that and find a way to get involved with that. If you're interested in what Cal Newport was talking about, I mentioned some of my favorite books for deep work, So Good They Can't Ignore You, and Digital Minimalism. But this concept is out of his newest book called Slow Productivity, which I listened to a little bit of the audiobook, which is like really good. So I recommend that if you're interested in learning more. And you know, like and subscribe and share if you would like to learn more, if you would like to follow for content like this.